All right, this is day 2 of radicals. It's a slight twist on what we did the other lesson, which was simplifying radicals. So what the question asks here is what do you do with a number in front of a radical? And that's the biggest plot twist that we have in this lesson. So before we start, let's go ahead and list our perfect squares. So we have 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49. 8 times 8 is, 64. 9 times 9 is 81. 10 times 10, 11 times 11, 12 times 12, 13 times 13. If we need more, we can calculate more. So to start with, we'll just kind of ignore this 7. We're going to ignore the 7 for the time being, and we're still going to reduce that radical to begin with. So we divide by 2 here, and we get 81. Now, 81, if we look at our list, 81 is actually in our list. So just by dividing by 2, we actually found our perfect square. So we're going to change 162 into 81 times 2. We're going to carry that 7 down out front. Then we're going to do 7 times the square root of 81 times the square root of 2. Again, I'm just carrying this 7 down. Square root of 81 is 9 times the square root of 2. And then 7 times 9 is 63 square root 2. So basically what you do is you just carry that coefficient down, and then when you finish, you multiply those two numbers out front to get 63 times the square root of 2. Okay? So for this next one, we'll go ahead and do 200 divided by 2, which is 100. And all right, again, 100's in our list. So we're going to carry down that 13, not do much with it, and switch this into 100 times 2. And then I'll break it into the square root 100, square root 2, so they get their own radical. And we'll do 13 times 10 times the square root of 2. 13 times 10 is 130. If you want to, go ahead and pause this. You can try the next one by yourself. So what we do first is we do 45 divided by 2, which is 22.5. And unfortunately, 22.5 is not in our list, but it's somewhere between 16 and 25. So what we're going to do is divide by 16 first. So let's try 45 divided by 16. If you do that in your calculator, you get a decimal, which we don't want. Okay? So if you do that in a calculator, you get a decimal. No good. So we'll try the next one, 9. 45 divided by 9 is 5. So since that was a nice integer, we're going to switch this to -7 square root 9 times 5, which is -7 square root 9 square root 5, or -7 times 3 times the square root of 5, and then last we get -21 square root 5. Again, if you want, you can type this into your calculator and then hit enter, then type that in your calculator, hit enter. You should get the same decimal. It'll be ugly, but you should get the same decimal. So let's try this. We're going to have to combine like terms. So 72 divided by 2 is 36, and 36 is on our list. So we're going to switch the first term into 36 times 2. This becomes 6 root 2. I'm going to kind of start skipping a couple steps because we've done enough, I think. 75 divided by 2 is 37.5, I think. But hopefully this might make you think of money, like quarters and change. So this one is 25 times 3. So plus 5 root 3. And then our last one is 48. 48 divided by 2 is 24. In our list, we'd have to check 4, 9, 16, 25. We'd have to start at 16. And if you do that, it works out actually. You get 3, so it's 16 times 3. So this becomes minus 4 square root 3. Now what we do is combine like terms. So we have this one and this one. So we end up with 6 root 2. And then 5 minus 4 is 1. So it's plus 1 root 3. But I would always just write 6 root 2 plus root 3. All right, this is a big one. So 180. I'm gonna pause this video and I'll make a new one so we're not too crunched for time. But these are just giant numbers that we're gonna do the same thing for. Okay, so don't panic.